There's a shot in the journal story where it's that afternoon, really beautiful orange with the volcano in the background, and it's pretty impressive. My name's Rob Machado, and I guess I'm the reason the Drifter came to exist. It was the brainchild of myself, Taylor Steele, Dustin Humphreys. We collectively kind of came up with this master plan to drag me around Indonesia and see what happens. My favorite part of the movie would be the time I spent in Desert Point. Early on, we talked about what waves do we want to film and focus on, and deserts was high on my list, and it was high on everyone's list. Getting over there and just getting the lay of the land and the wave and the crowd and the whole vibe there was challenging for the headspace that I was in. I really wanted to be kind of more off the grid, but I found my little zone down kind of the end of the reef. I set up my tent. I had this great little spot where I had this family kind of overlooking my existence. I loved it, just laying there in my tent. I was reading books and writing and listening to music and just waiting for tides to move and finding these incredible windows of time to ride such an amazing wave. Yeah, there was definitely one swell that stood out, the biggest swell. It was really south, so it was really pushing down the end of the reef. For whatever reason, it kind of swings in down the end of the grower. And we had big tides, so the tides were really low. And there was a swell before that was pretty solid as well. And Shane Dorian was there with me for a couple days, and it's good to have a wingman like that. It was super impressive to watch him surf the grower on his backhand. That was crazy, but it's just rad to have someone like that, a friend of yours paddling out, surfing a pretty heavy part of the reef. It gets super shallow down the end there, and it was definitely dangerous. It's one of those waves where you lock into the tube, and depending on the wave, some are faster than others, but a really difficult wave to find an exit. Because it's heavy and thick, and the bottom's really, there's steps in it sometimes, so to even punch through the back on your forehand was hard. And so the other option was to straighten out. Finding these little tiny doggy doors and just beating the lip out in front, and then once the explosion would hit, I would just try to lay back into the whitewater and float. And just you'd feel the reef just rushing underneath you and just bouncing off it, and just slide across it until you slow down and grab onto something and find your footing and get your board back and then try to squeak back out or walk up the reef and paddle back out or whatever it was. But I don't know, man. I was just in a weird mindset. I was just kind of didn't care what was going to happen. If I was going to come in bloody or whatever, it just didn't matter. It's just where I was. And that was kind of the perfect challenge for me. Seems like a lot of dudes surf it now. It's kind of a thing, but it's pretty intense. I want to say it was Dustin's idea to, he had this dolly track built so they could, he had it broken up into pieces so he could fit it in his truck. He drove it all the way to deserts, and he leveled out this down by the grower. He leveled out this whole perfect little piece of dirt so he could lay the thing out, and he had this little skateboard wheels rigged up and this little platform, and they put Todd heater on there. They had dual pushing him, and they planted trees in front of the, just basically broke off these big sticks so that you had this feeling of movement in the foreground. So as you're kind of going, panning, watching me ride the wave, you'd have these trees go through the frame, and like, it was just pretty wild setup. It might not have been the sharpest of footage, but it's still interesting. It looks cool. It's more pulled back too. You get a feeling more of the whole, more space, and the wave just kind of is back there. It's part of this big picture.